OMG, Leica's just become affordable with this new camera.
This is Leica's answer for all those who don't need all the bells and whistles of the Type 240 at a more favourable price.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Leica, affordable? Yeah, you're right actually, it's not that affordable.
Ka-ching! Yours for only?
It's just cheaper. How so? Well, it's like the M Type 240. Holy shit, that's brilliant.
Leica is all about that decisive moment. That and stalking people to get a shot.
That's brilliant.
Cheers, man.
You gonna go surfing now?
Yeah.
Can I come take pictures of it?
Probably, yeah, really. It is.
I've always wanted to photograph surfers, and I like street photography, so this is perfect.
Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying it's low budget. Yeah, it's like the M Type 240, but with this, they've used cheaper materials. The top plate is aluminium instead of brass, and it doesn't have a video mode. Why would you have video mode on Leica anyway?
This Leica is stripped of anything other than the core essentials of photography. That is the beauty of it. The autofocusing system is the best around because it doesn't have one.
It's kind of like a sports car, but not the top version. Not the most expensive one, but slightly below that. I don't mean Porsche Boxster because that is for hairdressers and the bloody producer. Although I'd like to think that he probably wants to be a hairdresser, judging by... This is kind of like just Porsche 911 cheap. You don't mind if I take pictures as well?
You look like a Digital-Rev.
Yeah, that's me.
Got to go, man.
Alright.
Nice to meet you, bro. This is sick. Yeah. Oh man, I watch your stuff all the time. That's wicked.
Really?
Yeah.
I just saw like this
What are you
dude
guys
like,
testing out?
this,
It's the Leica thing.
Yeah.
Sick, bro.
and I just thought, what the
Yeah. Oh, this is jokes. Quite nice to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Man, this is
Alright.
sick.
Yeah.
It's a big name. Like, it's a celebrity name.
No.
I've seen so many of them. Yeah. You probably inspired me to buy this.
My evil plan to sell Sony gear to the unwitting and help Sony in their goal for world domination has worked.
Yeah, this is the A7S
Yeah.
II. Yeah, good camera.
Sick. This is jokes. Alright, Diggs, let's try it, man.
Now, I'm sure someone's going to chime in now with their opinion saying that the Olympus pen or whatever focuses quicker, but you've got to focus the Leica properly, and if you do it right, it'll be faster and more accurate. Let me show you how. First problem when people get Leica M is that they just keep moving that focus ring back and forth. It gets confusing, thus takes longer. It doesn't have to be on infinity, just a distance further than the distance of the subjects that you haven't quite seen yet but plan to shoot will be in. Knowing you only need to move the focus in one direction saves time with working out which direction you need to swing that ring.
But if you set it to infinity to start off with, it's only going to go in one direction, isn't it? Not how you styles one direction. So to begin with, you know that the rangefinder patch is out of focus. So when you're going in that one direction, it should be easier to align the focus. Infinity. Bam. Done.
So starting off with infinity and focusing in one direction, closer to you, works a treat for subjects moving towards you.
But the key thing is that in terms of functionality, it's pretty much the same as any other Leica M. And when I say it's got the same functionality as any other Leica, I mean there isn't much functionality. It's a Leica. I mean, part of the appeal of the brass is when the black paint comes off, you start to see the brass coming out from underneath the black paint. But this, black chrome, so it's not going to happen.
There's even a Leica that was designed to look like the paint had been rubbed off by an acid sweaty fingered photographer. Some Leica geeks prefer black paint to black chrome because it might brass nicely. In reality, it just ends up looking old. And if we're to base what Leica fans like based on the limited editions, then they also don't like screens. Shame, because this 3-inch LCD screen is pretty good.
I mean, when you're looking through the menu system, there are literally 2 pages. Yes. So it's incredibly easy to use. And one page is for stuff that you don't really need to use most of the time. Language, reset, firmware, auto power off, yeah, boring. Dedicated button for white balance, play, delete, ISO, menu, set. No, the ISO button you can set maximum exposure time, which means the slowest shutter speed. Using a Leica for action, sports photography on the street. This is like street photography and sports combined. It's brilliant. And it uses, they call it gorilla glass. It's actually glass made by gorillas. Clever that. How they get the gorillas into the German factories and then making the glass. Here we go. Oh, this screen is gorgeous.
Are you sponsored as well by them as well?
No. Oh yeah. Like Sony as well.
That's beautiful.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is sexy time.
I've got a couple of lenses for that as well. Yeah, well, by all means, come and have a look at the shop if you want.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the beauties of the Leica M is that it works in pretty much the same way as all the old film M's, and that means it takes a lot of the old lenses too.
That's your cabinet.
Oh, it's a tiny cabinet for me.
Yeah.
No, no thanks.
Thanks. Not quite there.
Has to be Leica.
Has to be like
I've got a very nice one, but it's got a little bit of damage on it.
What is it?
It's 35mm titanium.
Oh, that's naughty.
Yes, but it's got a little. It needs to go to the Leica doctor.
Like a doctor.
Yeah.
I always find the rubber hoods on these a bit funny. It's a bit like some kind of rubber prophylactic, or to prevent you getting STDs or something like that. So, especially if you're naked as well, you know, don't want to catch any.
Despite having all that amazing glass to choose from, you can't beat a simple 50mm Summicron glass. It oozes class, literally gushes out of everywhere. 24 megapixels isn't high by these days standards, but putting Leica lens on a Sony is just not the same. It's like putting a supermodel in a load of angler's clothing. The concept can't be objected to, but the idea is just a little bit too fishy.
And it also doesn't have live view, but live view on a Leica, that's weird. But having said that, it would probably make something like this quite easy to shoot.
And I'm not just shooting at smaller apertures to cover up focusing errors. How about in the bokeh zone? Big fat Bosch, this is my final shot then. Alright, it's not a camera made for action, it only has a 2 FPS continuous burst. I might as well not even bother mentioning it, but it's good enough for anything you see on the street, even stuff that isn't really meant for the street.
Oceans are very dangerous today. Not too many sharks, just a few four-wheel vehicles. My mind is just going crazy in a minute, but I don't care about that. Usually I'll be over there taking pictures, but I've got a fucking surfboard attached to a skateboard. I'm putting Leica down. Putting a Leica down.
Are you riding that with your camera?
Yeah, just leave a Leica M in the middle of the road, as you do.
After this one, I'm going to race with the man on the cycle. Shit, I'm gonna kill it, baby.
I've always wanted to try surfing, so here's my chance to catch some killer waves.
Oh shit, sorry. Forget Leica. Actually, where's it gone? Somebody's stolen it. Oh, that's there. The waves are not good today. Fresh. And over. Oh.
Prevented from vastly improving the look of a Toyota there.
There are some other subtle things, and that's what Leica is all about. The subtleties, the sounds, how these dials click nicely into place, the aperture ring. That's all old stuff, obviously. But this is new. That is a nicer sound, though. I mean, nice as in more discreet. The M9 was like a robot vomiting.
The shutter sound is amazing. It's perfect. Quieter than before. Quieter than a Type 240, and let's not even bother comparing it to the M9. I like the frame lines compared to the M9 lines. Such wow! Never been a huge fan of that dial that functions as an exposure comp. Works alright, but mainly because it messes with the otherwise clean lines. It really doesn't bother me that it's not brass. There's a lot of snobbery amongst Leica fanboys, worse than me. To me, it doesn't really matter that this isn't the best, most luxurious materials. This is all the Leica you'll ever need. I think he probably forgot who he was supposed to be calling.
This guy with bad memory. Goldfish memory. So yeah, in terms of new stuff, it's not really a new camera, but in terms of Leica-ness, no thanks. He just asked us about 10 meters down the road, and he's asked us again, that guy. In terms of newness, this isn't the bestest, newest thing with all the latest features on it. In fact, they've taken stuff away. But as a Leica M, this really is as close to perfect as you can get.
There is no cheap way into Leica as such. There are only more basic routes to go. The M-Type 262 is just that. But because it lacks all those features like video, live view, brass, it is Leica in its purest form. And that is what makes the Type 262, in my mind, the Leica M to go for, if you want one.
He's taking pictures of rubbish. He's taking rubbish photos.